Unfortunately, even though there's paid professionals out there, there's the IRS out there, ultimately your identity protection is up to you. You're the one in control of it. You got to be careful. You got to be super diligent. Don't email your social security number or tax ID number. Don't email documents unsecured unless you're using encryption. Do not send documents like your W 2 or 1099 to your tax preparer or to your spouse. Use encryption on that. I know it's a pain and it is inefficient, but those are the things you have to do to protect yourself. And then finally, if you are at all concerned that your identity's been stolen, or you just want to be super uber careful with the IRS for these false tax returns that are getting filed, you can put a stop to that and eliminate the possibility of it happening if you get an identity protection PIN from the IRS. How do you do that, Kevin?
To be the proactive, you could do the tool, or it's a 15227 form.
There's an online way to click a button and apply with the IRS online. You do need an IRS.gov account, but those are getting easier to make. Usually you can get one in 5 to 15 minutes. Create the account, go to the link that we show for identity protection PIN, unless you think you've already been a victim of identity theft. But you can go here online and in 5 minutes,
You're right.
set
Yeah.
it up, and then they will mail you the PIN. And this works. We have clients after clients that forgot they got a PIN or lost it, didn't give it to us, and we go to file the return and we can't file it without that PIN. So it works. It's one of the places where the IRS is actually good at being secure.
A identity theft affidavit. It's a form 14039. You could just Google IRS form 14039. You could do this online as well. And so you can tell the IRS, do not accept any tax returns on my social security number's behalf unless I have this PIN. So every year, the IRS is going to send you a letter. And if you're married, you're going to get two. Each person, each taxpayer is going to have their own PIN number. It's like a 6-digit PIN number. So the IRS is going to mail you a letter, let's say in January of every year, with a unique PIN letter for that next tax filing season. So these criminals who are filing these false tax returns, hopefully they don't have that letter too. The odds of that are going to be pretty low, but this letter is going to be the key that unlocks the acceptance of your tax return. If you don't have that PIN number, or you lose it, or you don't check your mail, there's ways to recover a PIN. But like Mike said, it's more work, but it's safer.
I think that affidavit is if you believe or have reason to believe that you have been a victim of identity theft. When you're applying for these things or checking these things out, make sure you manually type in. Don't go to Google and search IRS. Manually type in, or at least look at the HTML and look and make sure it's irs.gov.
Gov.
I've seen scams like that where it looked like an email from the IRS, except I knew they didn't send it. And they say, click here to set up your identity PIN. And I think what they would do at that point, it was an email supposedly from the IRS. Hey, we have reason to believe that your records might have been stolen. You might be a victim of identity theft. Click this link to come to the IRS and create an identity PIN. What I suspect happened is you would click that link. It would probably look really official. You'd put in what you want your identity PIN to be, and then they would use that to go and apply for an identity PIN for you. It's coming from everywhere.
You gotta be careful.
Unfortunately, even though there's
Yeah.
paid professionals out there, there's the IRS out there, ultimately your identity